Hey, folks, welcome to the two mix. Got last week, football, holy Toledo. Just some great games and some outcomes that we did not predict or anything. Also, the World Series is set. And Mike, I want to talk about injuries starting off.
Oh, our favorite topic, injuries, huh?
Pickleball has
Are
had
we talking pickleball again?
Pickleball has had a 91% increase in injuries over this past year. 91%.
Where did you get that stat from?
Most of it is strains, fractures, and stuff like that. Some of them have had to go to the hospital. But
You know why? Because a lot of old people play pickleball.
Well, that's where the age is. It's from the 55s all the way to the 75-year-olds that are getting hurt. They're getting fractures. They're having to go to the hospital. But you know what has been on the increase? Eye injuries. I never paid any attention, but those people have start wearing protective safety goggles.
Like racquetball, you used to have to wear the goggles playing.
Did
you ever play racquetball, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah. Love racquetball.
I used to love racquetball.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you used to wear those glasses. I've seen several videos where pickleball people, they go back and they end up smacking somebody upside the face when they're playing doubles and stuff.
But anyway, so all you pickleball fans and players out there, wear your glasses, wear your shoulder pads, wear your elbow pads. At their age, they ought to wear them. I mean, wear a helmet. Let's just not get hurt at pickleball. And then also the World Series is set. Mike, we got Toronto.
Dodgers and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and I'm going to be pulling for the Dodgers.
Well, I'd say based on history and where the money is, the Dodgers should win the World Series pretty easy. But that's why they play.
They have to go up there to play in that cold.
It's going to be cold.
It is.
And they're used to sunny and 75 in Southern California.
And that can make a difference. So
yeah.
And Mike, what do you think about the top 10 or 15 this week?
I think obviously the big thing this week was Miami getting upset by the Cards. I'll have to give them credit, Jimmy. The Cards went in and they went in and played well and beat Miami at Miami. I did not think that was going to be a game. Not just necessarily because it's Louisville, but I just thought Miami was that good.
Be close.
Yeah, well, you were right. It was a close game, and Miami played with fire because I do think Miami's the better team. But that night, Louisville got up on them. Miami fought back. It looked like they were going to, at the end of the game, go down and score. But you put yourself in that kind of situation, and all it takes is one defensive play like Louisville made, and congrats to the Cards because they pulled off a big win. And technically, Jimmy, they're in the playoff hunt now.
They're ranked 19th now. Good job, Cards.
Because whoever comes out of the sorry ACC, because I'm sorry, the ACC is pretty bad, is going to get an automatic berth to the playoff, which we'll talk a little more about kind of who we think is going to be in the playoff at this point and kind of conference breakdowns. But I don't see the ACC getting more than one, maybe two, if they're lucky.
Well, who would think that Georgia Tech is the front runner out of the ACC right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got Georgia Tech that's undefeated right now, and Miami with the one loss that's still in the top 10. I think if Miami wins out, they're still in. But if they lose, now they have no margin for error. If they lose one more game, I think that Miami would be out. So a lot of things still left to play, but who knows?
And of course, you got Indiana moved up to number 2. Ohio State's still number 1. Ole Miss got beat. They dropped down to number 8 right now.
Well, it really comes down to, again, I kind of had a conversation with an Ohio State fan last night. And, of course, they're going to stick up for their team and their conference. But, the conversation revolved around the SEC and if IU and Ohio State were having to play the gauntlet like what Alabama's had to play the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Where would they be at and would they be undefeated? Obviously you can't really tell that, but looking at it right now, Jimmy, I mean, you look at the top 20. In the top 20, you have 10 teams that are from the SEC. And I'm sorry, take that back. You have
10 SEC.
Yeah, you have 10. 20. You have 10 in the top 20, and 7 in the top 15,
and 5 in the
and
top
5
10.
in the top 10.
Yeah.
So man, it's pretty. The SEC. The question is, how many SEC teams are going to get into the playoff? They legit could have 5 or 6 teams. They could have half of the teams in the playoff could be from the SEC, depending on how things play out. So I don't see anybody other than in the Big Ten, other than Indiana, Ohio State, and obviously Oregon having a chance to get in. At least 2 of those will get in, if not 3. And I only think you're going to get 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Big 12, and then 1 from you got the small conference team, the highest ranked small conference team. So with that said, you're looking at 6 teams, 3 from the Big 10, 3 from the other conferences, and then potentially 6 from the SEC. And
potentially, I don't think it'll work out that way.
I don't think so either, but I think they're going to have at least 4, maybe 5, and an outside shot at 6, depending on how things play out.
But hats off to Vandy. Vandy beat LSU last week. And then Georgia beat Ole Miss.
Well, Vandy, Georgia, and Alabama all got big home wins.
Alabama beat Tennessee.
Yeah, they all got big home wins against quality opponents.
Another game that Kentucky should have won. Mike, you were at the game. Why don't you give us your thoughts about that game?
Jimmy, I tell you, it was heartbreaking because you saw where we had the potential, and it was kind of the same thing when the Ole Miss game, when you knew that if you had a chance at home against a team that, and this was even worse because our defense played lights out. They held Texas, I think, to 2 first downs the entire first half, put us in a position to win. And offensively, we outgained them by double. I think we had 3 or 4 times the amount of first downs. I mean, we were the better team that night. And unfortunately, I think that it came down to some bad decision making down the stretch. I just didn't understand some of the play calling, especially the last, I could sit there and nitpick a lot of different things, but that last possession, when we got down to the 3-yard line, 1st and goal on the 3, Jimmy, what is Texas's strength? Just let me ask you that. What do you think their strongest thing is defensively?
Stopping the run down the end zone.
Well, because of what?
Their
defensive line. All 4 of them are going to be in the NFL next year, or eventually be in the NFL. It is the strength of their team. And we literally bunched up and tried to go head-to-head with their strongest spot 3 plays in a row.
Well, we did that. That's always been that way.
And it's just, I understand, you want to prove yourself and punch it in, but I just did not like the play calling at the end. I thought that we really should have just gone off tackle or something, just anything. But or even, I can't. I'm not saying that I can fault Stoops for going for it on 4th and 1, but you had to think about it with the way our defense was playing, that we were not going to let them score a touchdown. And so it was just a missed opportunity. And now, obviously we would have to really go on a run, which to have it. But that if we win that game, you got Tennessee at home this week. Tennessee is beatable. I don't necessarily say that we're going to beat them, but if you get that win last week and you possibly, and then and then Auburn's reeling right now. They might not even have their, Hugh Freeze may not even be the coach next week. So you literally had a legit opportunity if you could have gotten that game to reel off 3 in a row and be in a position to make a bowl game. And
then we have Florida coming up.
Florida just lost their coach.
And folks, I want to talk a little bit about coaches being fired. So far this year, we've had 6 coaches get fired already, and we're going into week 8.
I've expressed my feeling on firing coaches in the middle of season.
Yeah, I know. I just don't like it. We had Billy Napier from Florida's gone, James Franklin from Penn, Sam Pittman from Arkansas, just in case y'all forgot, Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State, Deshaun Foster from UCLA, and Brent Pry from Virginia Tech. Also this week, the athletic director from Florida State said he's going to really be looking at the end of the year. That coach may not make it. Wisconsin's coach, he's another one that's on. He probably won't get. He may not even make
your
it.
very own Mark Stoops. I don't think Mark Stoops is going to be around much longer either.
You just mentioned Auburn's coach. and then also Maryland's coach. All those could be gone by the end of the year. And believe it or not, there's 2 other coaches on the hot seat a little bit. I don't think they'll get fired, but one of them is Brian Kelly from LSU, and then Dabo from Clemson.
I think Dabo is going to be gone. I think Dabo will step down. I think he'll step down gracefully, and he'll either go into the broadcast booth or he'll take a year or 2 off and go somewhere else.
I don't think I've ever seen this many coaches gone. I mean, mid-season, basically.
I think what it is, I think it's because there's so much money in the NIL now. There's a lot more pressure from boosters saying, hey, we just gave you millions of dollars.
The boosters are controlling
running
the shots.
Yep.
You're right, Mike. You're 100% right. So, folks, last week, I had some friends ask us, how'd you do on your picks last week? Well, me and Mike both went 5-2 last week, and we will start keeping track of that. I think those are the only 2 we've lost, right?
We lost. We both picked Miami, and then I think
you didn't get the joke. You didn't get the joke for the whole year. I think those are only 2 we lost.
I think you're right. I think we're.
So let's go ahead to our picks, and these are just some of the major games that we picked out. But you got UCLA at number 2, Indiana, Mike, and UCLA has really come on. They probably are the team that cost James Franklin his job, but I'm going to go with Indiana. It is at Indiana, and they're playing pretty good right now.
Well, I think the Indiana is going to win this game, but I'm telling you, UCLA is dangerous right now. Rick Neuheisel is their offensive coordinator. They brought him in, and he's a great offensive mind. And UCLA is playing really well right now. And Indiana pretty much plays nobody after. They're going to most likely play in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State, but they'll already be solidified in the playoff at that point. Of course, the one thing that I wanted to talk about, you were talking about coaches, is Cignetti signed the 11-year,
8-year, $93 million
or something like that.
Yeah, 8-year, $93 million. Of course, hats off to Indiana for that.
Well, but here's the thing: that contract is probably, Cignetti can decide to break that contract if he wants. There's going to be a lot of these teams that are going to go after him, and it's going to be interesting to see if he stays loyal to IU that gave him his first big shot, or if he goes to, I've heard Penn State's going to go after him, Florida could go. Pretty much every big school is going to go after him.
Well, let me tell you another coach they're going to go after. They're going to go after Braun from Louisville.
Well, that's already, I've heard of that. Florida, Penn State is after him.
Yeah, Florida is too. But anyway, who are you taking in that game?
Well, I'm going to take Indiana, but I am going to put Indiana on alert in that game because
that doesn't mean
UCLA. Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying that it would not. I'm not saying that they're going to go in and beat Indiana by any means, but I do think it's going to be a pretty good game.
So you're picking Indiana?
I'm picking Indiana, but I'm just putting them a little bit on alert, saying the Hoosiers better be ready because the Bruins are not bad.
You're saying it's going to be a close game.
Yes, I'm saying potentially it could be a close game, and it could be. Most people aren't going to think that's going to be close. But
all right, next game we have is Alabama at South Carolina. South Carolina's 3-3. They've sort of.
Well, I put that as an alert game because you would think that Alabama, after they've played 4 ranked teams in a row and gotten 4 big wins, South Carolina is still not bad, and they're playing at South Carolina. This to me could be this could be a trap game for Alabama. Because South Carolina is going to be like a wounded animal in the corner. And they're going to come out scratching and clawing, and it's at the SEC. And if Alabama could easily have a letdown after the 4 games, just like they did after they beat Georgia last year and went into Vandy and lost to Vandy. So I've got Alabama on alert too, Jimmy. They better listen to me.
You know what you do with wounded animals. You go ahead and bury them. Alabama's going to win that one, folks.
I'm going to pick Alabama, but again, Alabama better be careful.
Missouri at number 10, Vandy.
I'm going to pick Vandy. I think Vandy's legit, Jimmy. I think Vandy is legit.
I like Missouri. I don't know why, but I watched Missouri in a losing battle to Alabama, and they impressed me, and I think they're going to win against Vandy. I think Vandy coming off the LSU game.
Vandy's swagger. And to be honest with you, I think their quarterback, what's his name again? I always forget his name.
Yeah, well, something like that.
Yeah. I think that he should be considered for the Heisman. I think that guy.
They keep winning, he will be.
Well, he should be. And I think Vandy's legit. And I think you think about it, the only loss they have, they played Alabama nip and tuck at Alabama. And that's the only loss they have. They pretty much controlled the game against LSU, and they are legit. And
I think Missouri's defense is going out doing this time.
I think you're wrong on that one.
All right, here's one: BYU at Iowa State.
I put that one down as well because Iowa State is got they're good, but they've kind of come on some hard times the last couple games, and BYU just got a huge win over Utah, and they're playing at Iowa State. I'm going to pick Iowa State in this one, Jimmy. I'm picking the upset.
I've got Iowa State. Texas A&M at number 20, LSU, number 3 against number 20, and I'm going with LSU Tigers.
I think that LSU will win this game too because this could be a job game for Brian Kelly because if he loses this, he'll be out of the playoff hunt, and I think that he, like you said, he could be one of the coaches that could be gone if he does not win this game at home.
He's in a little bit of a hot seat right now.
He is. And he kind of does it to himself. He's kind of an ass.
No, I like Brian Kelly.
No, he's kind of an ass.
Boston College, number 19, Louisville. This is one that, on paper, it looks like Louisville should blow them out. But
you're going to give me a butt on this one. Come on.
Yes, I'll give you
Boston
a butt.
College is 1-6.
Louisville's favored by, I think, 25 or 22 on this game.
So you're going to take Boston College?
No, I didn't say that. Will you please just let me finish, and I will get this out. U of L has that Brom jinx, I'll call it, where after he has a big game and he wins, Brom has a tendency to lose the next game. They beat Notre Dame last year, and he went to Syracuse and laid an egg. He did it at Purdue also. So I'm just telling you, U of L, Brom, you got to take this game serious. You need to go after Boston College. The players don't celebrate that Miami win that long, but I'm going to take U of L.
I'm definitely taking U of L here. And if they were playing anybody halfway decent, then I would consider what you're saying. But Boston College is horrible.
I know.
They're
horrible. Syracuse when
they've lost 6 straight. They won their first game against like Fordham, and then they've lost 6 straight and gotten blown out by teams like Michigan State.
I'm just saying, though, Brom has a tendency to win that big game and then lose the next one. And then, Tennessee at UK. I even don't like picking these games when the UK is involved in football.
I hate playing Tennessee because they always beat our ass.
There's part of me that wants to pick UK, but that's coming from the heart.
You're wearing an orange hat, though, Jimmy. You're like, I think you're secretly a Tennessee fan now.
No, I did this because it was fall.
What is it? We're playing Tennessee this week, and you got a freaking Tennessee hat on. What's up with that?
You might have been the only one that noticed that, and you had to open that big mouth of yours, didn't you? Anyway, folks, I am a UK fan. Doesn't matter what I wear. I am Go Big Blue. But anyway, it kills me to say Tennessee.
Well, as much as I would like to pick Kentucky, and if their defense played like they did last week, they'd have a chance. But they're going to have a different animal with Tennessee's offense, and we have always struggled against hurry-up offenses. We've always struggled. I would love to be wrong on this, and I would love for nothing better to come in here and say, we were wrong, Jimmy, and we picked the wrong team, and the Cats, if they were to get that win, they could still have a chance at doing something this season. But this is a make or break for them because at 2-4, if you get to 3-4, you maybe could beat Auburn at Auburn. You got the little team. Anything could happen. But if they lose this game at 2-5, they've got to go 4-1 their last 5 games to get to bowl eligibility. And I don't see that happening.
Also in basketball this week, folks, Kentucky plays Purdue in exhibition game.
They play the Friday, don't they?
Friday. Yeah, they play Friday at 7 o'clock. It will be on the SEC network. But I don't know how much Pope will.
Of course, the big news, you didn't even talk about it, Jimmy, was the
wait a minute, we're talking about
shoulder injury to Jalen Lowe.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, I know, but we're talking about the basketball right now.
I know. But that's what I'm talking about, too.
Yeah, but I don't know how much Pope or Purdue will show in that game, but it's a big exhibition game for exhibition games. I never did like watching these preseason games that didn't count, but even though this doesn't count on record, I think it still counts a little bit. And it will be at Rupp. So
it will be at Rupp, and there'll be a big crowd there.
Yeah.
But I'm really worried about Jalen Lowe, because he's that guy that we brought in from Pitt, and he's supposed to be our main star. And what we had to deal with last year with the shoulder injury to point guard last year.
Yeah.
His name's slipping my mind.
Yep.
The guy came from San Diego State.
Yep.
So I hope this is not something that's going to linger around the whole season, but it has to be seen. But he's the one player that we really couldn't afford to lose.
I'm looking forward to this game. I'm going to watch it Friday, and Pope says they're going to be better defensively, and he's going to launch up more threes. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, he launched a bunch of them last year, so I can't imagine him launching up more.
Did you watch the Giants-Broncos game in the NFL last week?
I didn't get to see it, but I watched the highlights of that meltdown. And I guess if there was one team that felt worse than Kentucky fans, it might be Giants fans.
Yeah, well, the Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, which isn't an NFL record, but it's close. I think that's second in the NFL. But that did break a Broncos record for the most points in the fourth quarter.
Maybe that's why you're wearing the orange hat.
I'm wearing it for the Broncos,
Is that for the Broncos?
Yeah.
I've never seen an orange hat on you.
It looks good, don't it?
I don't like orange. It reminds me of Tennessee. I just want to punch you upside the head for wearing that hat. Especially on Tennessee week of all weeks. All weeks, Tennessee week, you wear the orange hat on the show.
How do you know this ain't for the Bengals?
Because I know you.
Because the Bengals beat Pittsburgh Thursday.
You probably just put that on your head and didn't even think about it.
This is a golf hat.
Yeah, well,
it's a golf hat.
It's an orange hat. On Tennessee week. We played Tennessee in 3 days.
The Giants, their field goal kicker missed 2 extra points, and that was his first game playing. Their other field goal kicker was injured. There we go, back to injuries. And so this guy had to play his first game ever, and I felt sorry for him. He missed 2 extra points. If he'd made both of them, the Giants would have won. If he made one, they would have gone into overtime. But anyway, hats off to the Broncos for.
It's not the kicker's fault, though. If you let a team come back,
the defense could have played a little bit better
going into the fourth quarter,
and they could have ran the ball a lot more. The Giants
just give it to Scatterbo, man. Give it to that guy. I love watching that guy run. He's awesome.
But anyway, it was a fun game to watch. And then the Bucks, the Lions played some great defense against the Bucks, and
big news on that was the big injury to Mike Evans.
Yeah, well, Mike, that's twice he's been hurt this week. He just came back that game.
He broke his collarbone, and so he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
that's huge for the Bucks.
Mike Evans was hurt last year, if you remember, and then he got hurt again.
Well, he's been in the league 12 years, so he's getting I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up retiring.
And then, of course, Thursday night, the Bengals beating the Steelers.
Wasn't that beautiful?
Joe Flacco played a good game.
Joe Flacco, the old man River, has still got some. He's still got some ammunition in his guns.
The Bengals won the Icy Bowl.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you what, it couldn't have happened to a better team to do that to. Because I hate the Steelers. Sorry, all you Steelers fans, but as a Bengals fan, I've watched so many beatdowns from the gold and black that was just a beautiful thing. A lot of pent up anger and frustration. Watching Joe Flacco, old man River, in the Ben Gay Bowl, Jimmy. Between him and Aaron, and taking out Aaron Rodgers too. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers either. So it was beautiful. I loved it. And not only that, it put the Bengals in a position to where they've got a legit chance now of doing something.
I like the Steelers.
I do.
I do. So we'll just leave it. Well, I mean, I think.
Do you like the Bengals better or the Steelers better?
I like both of them.
Well, that's sacrilegious. And then they're in the same division.
I know the Chiefs looked real good last week. I think they're back. Rice came back and made a difference in that game.
Did you see that pass that Patrick Mahomes threw where he was
looking
straight ahead and he threw it to his left? That was hilarious.
He's good at doing that.
Yeah, that was a beatdown, and the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs of old. I know it was against the Raiders, but
I can't even put my car in reverse without looking at it. There's no way I could do a no-look pass.
I don't know, man, but he's Patrick Mahomes. That's why he's the best.
And then the Eagles got a big win over the Vikings. Sorry, Joe and Dan, your Vikings lost. And Mike, what do you think about the league?
It's obviously wide open because there is not a team that can really establish themselves week to week. I still think the Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC, and the Bills got a week off to recover from 2 straight losses. So I'm still putting my faith in the Bills, but it's as wide open as I've ever seen it. I mean, you still have at least 1, if not 2, undefeated teams at this point, this early in the season.
Well, you got one that
you don't even have any with 1 loss. They're all you have at least 2 losses for every team.
But my top 5 in the AFC, I have Indiana, Kansas City, New England, Pittsburgh, and Denver.
Colts got the best league in the record. They're the only 1-loss team in the league. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year?
I wouldn't have. In the NFC, I have Detroit, Philly, Green Bay, San Francisco, and the Los Angeles Rams. And then I've got in parentheses Seattle. Seattle's looking pretty good.
Seattle, man, I tell you, they're kind of quietly creeping along there, and they have gotten some good wins. I think that Seattle, you got to start thinking about them a little bit. Still a lot of football left to be played. I'm telling you, man, some of these division races are going to be exciting to watch the second half of the season because you're going to there's just so much parity in the league right now. And I don't really think there's a team that's just really going to just take it by the horns and just dominate. So that makes it fun.
Yeah.
It means that you might have 2 wild card teams in the Super Bowl this year.
Possibility.
Definitely could.
So this Thursday, folks, we got a good game. Minnesota at the Chargers. Chargers coming off a loss. Minnesota coming off a loss.
Man, the Chargers are just not played well the last few games.
They can't protect Herbert, and their defense is sucking right now. But they can't protect their quarterback.
They had some of the ugliest uniforms I've ever. They look like bananas running around this week.
Well, that softball team, the Bananas.
I know, the Savannah Bananas. What they look like. They need to retire. Then they got.
That's who was playing. And we didn't realize
they got it handed to them too. So they need to retire those banana uniforms.
And I'll be honest, I think I'm going to go with Minnesota, even though both of them lost. But you got to be able to protect the quarterback, and that offensive line of Chargers was awful.
I'm going to take the Chargers here just because it's a must-win for the Chargers, especially the way the Chiefs are playing. I think the Chargers will respond. Vikings are still dealing with Carson Wentz as their quarterback. I just don't have a lot of faith in him. So I'm going to go against you on this one, Jimmy. I'm picking the Chargers.
No, I don't want you to go with me on every one of them.
Well,
because that way my percentage is better than yours. And then we have Miami at Atlanta. I'm going to Atlanta. It's at Atlanta, and Miami just right now doesn't look like they know what.
Miami's coach is a dead man walking. He's a dead nerd, as I call it, the dead nerd walking.
Now
He's a dead nerd walking.
This game is pretty good. Intrigues me. It's Chicago at Baltimore.
And who would have thought at the beginning of the season?
Coming off a bye week. I think Lamar is going to be playing. And I'm going to go with Baltimore.
You have to go with Baltimore. But who would have thought at the beginning of the season that the Bears would have been coming into the Ravens and the Bears would be 4-2, and then the Ravens would be 1-5? If I had a bet, someone would have told me that before the season, I'd have said I'll take that bet, and would have been reversed. But the Baltimore's must win. They have to win this game, or there's just no way. You can't come back from 1-6. That's almost impossible.
Buffalo is at Carolina.
Carolina is one of those bipolar teams that you just never know what's going to show up. But I think Buffalo, coming off the bye, is going to be ready to play. They're going to be out to prove something, and I think they'll go in and win that game easy.
And do you think Cincinnati can win 2 games in a row?
Well, Jimmy, they're playing the Jets. If
Cincinnati can win 2 games
and they're playing at home. If you can't beat the worst team in the league at home, Old Man River, Joe Flacco is going to come out. And I tell you, I loved what they did with him. They ran a lot of quick passes with him, got it into the receiver's hands quick, and they finally got the running game going.
Hey, it's so bad at the Jets, they're not even naming their starting quarterback.
They're horrible.
And
if they lose to the Jets, they don't deserve.
I think it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. I believe it's going to be their quarterback. But Fields, even the owner was jumping on Fields.
Bengals, if they can get that win, they get back to 4-4. And I'm telling you, that division is anybody's division at this point. Anybody, the Bengals just need to hang around
until
Burrow gets. But I tell you, if Flacco plays like he did last week,
Well, I mean, I hate to say this, but he played against one of the worst defenses in the league right now.
Played against the Steelers.
Yeah, and their defense is not very good. Anyway, San Francisco at Houston, Mike.
I'm going with San Fran there. Houston.
Houston's favored in that game, but I'm going in there. Matt Jones will be starting quarterback. Yeah.
Houston is favored.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, here's one. Cleveland at New England, and Vrabel has done a great job at New England.
He's got New England at 5-2 at the top of the division right now.
And,
over the Bills.
And I'm going to go with New England. I think New England will win that game.
Yeah, I think New England playing at home will win that game. It'll be that'll be a slobber knocker because Cleveland's defense is really good and Vrabel's teams are very physical. So that'll be one of those like 13-6 games or something like that, I bet.
Yeah. The Giants are at Philadelphia in a league rival match.
Well, just a couple weeks ago, that was when the Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo duo really put on a show. I think the Eagles will be out for some revenge, and I think they'll lay the smackdown on the Giants playing at home. I think that the Eagles were embarrassed by what the Giants did to them a couple weeks ago.
I think you got a good call there. I'm going Philly as well. Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
You got to go with Tampa Bay. I mean,
after losing,
the Saints are just not very good, and even though they are playing at the Saints, but they are coming off a short week playing on Monday Night Football, and that does make a difference.
Yeah.
And they lost their best receiver for the season. That's going to be a better game than what people are going to think it's going to be, though.
Tampa Bay's only favored by 4.5, so they're favored by less than a touchdown. So, yeah,
I'd be tempted to bet on the Saints there, just not necessarily to beat them, but to take the spread. No, I'm not saying there. I'm just saying if I was a betting man,
so you're taking.
I'm taking the Bucks, but I'm saying taking the Saints and the spread may not be a bad bet there.
And then Dallas at Denver.
Dallas at Denver. That's an interesting game right there. I tell you what, Dak Prescott is playing lights out right now. Mm-hmm. He's earning his contract, and you got a couple weird plays, and really the Cowboys could easily be atop the division right now.
Well, they could be. They should.
That's a huge game for both teams. Probably even bigger for the Cowboys because they've got an extra loss and a tie. So the Cowboys, Denver really, even though they won last week, they really haven't been super impressive.
I'm taking Dallas.
I think I'll take Dallas too. I don't know why, because you just don't know what Dallas team is going to show up, but I like how Dak's playing right now, and they got CeeDee Lamb back. So right now, that might have been one of the best things that happened with CeeDee Lamb go out and Pickens really establish himself because they've got one of the best 1-2 punches at receiver, and the way Dak's throwing the ball right now, they're hard to stop.
And then Tennessee at Indy, and I'm going with Indy on that.
You got to go with the Colts there.
Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Oh, that's a coach that got fired last week, too.
Well, that's interesting. Aaron Rodgers going against his old Packers team. And did he play the Packers at the Jets? I don't think he did he?
No, he didn't.
This is the first time he's going to go against the Packers. I wish that would have been at Lambeau. That would have been great. They'd have booed him so hard.
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
You're picking the Steelers over the Pack, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No way. I'm going with the Pack on that one.
Okay.
I like the Pack. I think Pittsburgh's overrated.
Well, you take the Pack. I'm taking
Old man River Flacco exposed the Steelers last week. So I think the Pack's going to get a win there.
And then Washington without Jaden McDaniels, he's on injured reserve. He's already been counted out, and Marcus Mariota is going to be playing in his place against Kansas City at Kansas City, and I'm going with Kansas City.
Well, in Washington, not only just they got McLaurin out, I think somebody else out too.
Yeah.
So they're just decimated with injuries right now. So yeah, you definitely got to go with the Chiefs on that one. I think so. I don't know. It's a surprise from week to week, but
it's been very entertaining, hasn't it?
it's football season, Jimmy. It's always entertaining. You never know what's going to happen. And in 3 or 4 weeks, we'll be saying something totally different. Some other team will be the surprise team. And but I do think right now the college football playoff is starting to come to form. You're kind of seeing probably about the 15 to 20 teams that legitimately have a shot.
Yeah.
And a couple of the teams that I really, Penn State and Clemson aren't even in the top 25. Who would have, thought that? And IU's at number 2, and
That's
you got
impressive.
Vandy at number 10. I mean, that's just, who would have ever thought that kind of stuff? But it's the day and age of NIL, so I think you're always going to have craziness like this as long as players can go where they want, can transfer, and they can pay them all this money. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping the Cats can beat down the Vols in your orange hat.
Well, that's why I wore this hat to jinx the Vols.
To confuse them.
I've been wearing blue hats.
They're going to see that. They're going to say,
I've
Jimmy.
been wearing blue hats all this time, and Kentucky has lost. I wear an orange hat. That means Tennessee's going to lose, folks. That's my thinking.
I hope so. I hope our picks are wrong on that.
Yeah.
So you know what time it is now, Jimmy?
Is it my gripe?
It's time for your gripe of the week. What has pissed you off this week?
Folks, let me tell you something. The NCAA, they need to get rid of that organization. The NCAA needs to make up their mind what the hell they want to do. And this week, there was 2 G players that are going to be playing for college basketball teams. One of them's Louisville. I forget who the other one is, but they recruited G players to play in the NCAA. If you're a G player, you're considered a semi-pro or whatever. Your next step is the NBA. I don't think you should be allowed to go and play in the G League and then come back and play in college level. But anyway, Louisville recruited one, and he's going to be playing this year at Louisville. Nothing against the coach or anything, because that's his job to get the best players available. But the NCAA, I don't believe I thought I'd ever say this. You guys need to make some rules for football and basketball with the NIL and everything else. Get your act straight. Nothing against those kids, nothing against Louisville, but I don't believe that G League players should be allowed to come back and play college. That's my gripe of the week.
You did say at one point that the NCAA was the worst organization.
National Communist
in the
Athletic
universe. You said in the universe. I think that was one of our first shows. You said they were the worst organization in the universe. So, Jimmy's got to pee. So, you know what that means? That's the end of our show. And hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. And we'll be back next week and either broadcasting here or at Cosmic Golf. We don't know yet. And we're supposed to have a special guest to talk a little bit more about Major League Baseball in the World Series that'll be starting up this Friday, because we'll be honest, Jimmy and I are not the most expert people to be talking about Major League Baseball. But the Dodgers and the Blue Jays tip it off or hit it off, whatever they call it in baseball, on Friday. And we'll have hopefully a special guest to talk a little bit about that. Until next time, this has been the 2 Micks. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.